Welcome back, all our 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And this is our Warhammer 40k Halloween edition. The battle for the title for the next year of the PumpKing. Last year, I won with Necrons as we did skeletons versus zombies, and the skeletons prevailed. So this year, we will be changing it a bit. Instead, we're getting a little more demonic on this one.
Last year, I had 120 Poxwalkers, and you had 100 Necron Warriors.
I believe so, yeah.
Well, we just had a high model count game a couple weeks ago with the crew. We're not going to do that to ourselves again so soon, so we're having a little bit smaller model count today.
Exactly, yeah. That was like last game. Whew, that was a long one, and by the end of it, my brain and, as many of us know, my body was definitely regretting every decision for that.
That game literally hospitalized DJ. So
literally in a way. So, yeah, we're going to take a break from that. Instead, today, like I said, we're getting a little more demonic, as it's going to be the World Eaters versus the DeathGuard, specifically Angry Ron and Morty Boy.
Yeah, making his debut on the channel is Mortarion. I finally have a Mortarion, guys. It's been so long that I played DeathGuard, and I've never had a Morty up until now. He's finally painted and ready to play.
And we do get to see some of my World Eaters that are painted. Not base, because I haven't decided on the base scheme yet. I personally wanted to do gray with some cracks for the forming of it, but Lane and I have been discussing with different color palettes. I might shift away from that. Not 100% sure on the bases. Still want to work on the models. But I thought I was going to have a lot more time during maternity leave to paint them. And, well, Leia and Sophia said differently about that a lot.
Oh, girls.
Oh, those little sweethearts. Those little angels. Love them so much when they're sleeping. No, I'm kidding. I love them all the time because I'm sure they're going to see this a couple years ago. So, Dad, back when you were playing this Warhammer game, you didn't love us when we weren't sleeping? Yeah. No, Leia, Sophia, I love you all the time. Regardless, this is our Halloween episode where we will be battling for the PumpKing trophy, and the honor of calling themselves the PumpKing for the next year. We have not done a title match in a while. We've been waiting on that. And now that you have your Blood Angels up and going, is that something we maybe need to be talking about here in the near future?
Yeah, I think Blood Angels need to come back. I think a lot of people are interested in the Blood Angels, so we'll probably do that probably next week.
Quite potentially, because Lane needs to get the Blood Angels ready. I am probably going to need to get the Necrons ready because we'll be traveling November 16th out to Battlegrounds and Board Games to play in their RTT out there. But for this game, this is not as much RTT practice.
No,
not at all. For you yourself, you have a lot more season with the DeathGuard. Some things that you like. Their index is a lot deeper than the World Eaters. The World Eaters have a lot of access to chaos stuff. But me personally, I don't want to really go invest in a lot of chaos stuff because I'm hoping that we're going to get more units when they do get a codex. And this is a passion project, so I'm focused mostly on just pure World Eater units that are not chaos inclusive. So that kind of skews my build a little bit. No, like Defilers or what's the common shooting platform that's used out of
Skull
chaos?
Cannons? Or?
No, out of chaos. It's the dude with which has the gun mouth and the two arm mouths, really large. The Mauler Fiend, and then there's what's the other one? What's the you can't remember the other variant. I was going to
sorry. If you were counting on me to come up with the name, I'm not there.
I think we see it all the time. But that other variant, we see that thing. Forge Feed. That's it. The Forge Feed. None of those guys. So I'm sticking just purely with World Eaters. And I do have something tasty I want to try out today.
Okay.
Oh, it's
got me worried.
Oh, it's very tasty. All right, let's talk about these armies, these lists, and what we're bringing here today.
All right, so here is today's DeathGuard list. If you want to know more in detail about what these units do and what my plans are today, other than just to go forward and smash things, you can check out our individual army videos that we do where we go into a little bit more detail. But right now, this is my DeathGuard list, 1,995 points of DeathGuard, bringing a whopping and ridiculous 10 characters today, of course, led by Mortarion. We have also 2 Biologus Putrefiers, 2 Foul Blight Spawns, 1 Tally Man. I'm using a Plague Surgeon model for my tallyman in today. We have Typhus, and then we have 2 of the DeathGuard sorcerers in Terminator armor. We have 3 squads of Plague Marines, 2 10-mans loaded out for close combat, and 1 5-man with some guns on it. We got 2 DeathGuard Rhinos. We have 2 6-mans of the Death Shroud Terminators. Their points went down, so of course we're going to run them. And then we've just got 1 little footed bloat drone with flesh powers to round it out. DJ, what are you bringing today?
So my world leaders are a little less character intensive. I have half as many characters. We're only got 5 in this list today. Starting off with big old Angry Ron. Angron's leading this army as my warlord. We are taking a Demon Prince, and I know he has wings, but trust me, that is just his Halloween costume. He went as a bat for Halloween. This Demon Prince is a Demon Prince on foot, so he'll be walking and given an invulnerable save aura. We have Lord Invocatus, as well as a Khorne Lord on a Juggernaut. And then last, Karn the Betrayer. We have a 10-man squad of Khorne Berserkers as well as 2 5-mans. The 10-man's going to be going in our nice little Rhino. We have 3 of the World Eater Exalted 8-bound, 6 of the Standard 8-bound, and then last but not least, we have 20 of the Jackals. So the Jackals are interesting. So this is a little bit of fun I want to have with this, and we'll see how this works out today. This is a strat. It's a core strat that no one ever uses.
Okay. There's probably a reason no one ever uses it, but proceed. Please tell me.
And it's called Go to Ground.
Okay.
So for 1 glorious command point, you can give a unit cover as well as a 6-up invulnerable save. So I can target these Jackals and give them a 6-up invulnerable save. But wait, there's more. That Demon Prince, he's got an aura effect. And his aura effect reads, give units within 6 inches a 5-up invulnerable save. If they already have an invulnerable save, increase it to a 4-up. Which means that these little Jackals, this 20-brick squad, theoretically will have a 4-up invuln and a 5-up feel no pain most of the game because of the Blessing of Khorne, because they come with a 6-up feel no pain standard.
Pretty spicy. So the only way they get the 4-up invuln is if they go to ground.
I have to spend the command point to go to ground with them, yes.
Okay. But otherwise, they would still get a 5-up.
They would still get a 5-up, yes,
right,
which is really nice.
Yeah.
But it's that ability to go, oh, I'm going to go 1 command point and make this super, super durable chunk. That's really nice and strong. Then that also helps for like other things like the Exalted and the 8-bound, which have a 5-up invulnerable save going up to a 4-up, make them a little bit more durable. The Exalted have a feel no pain, so they go all the way up to a 5-up feel no pain. So there's a lot with that Demon Prince, and that's why he's got the enhancement to cut damage in half, which Lane, bringing Mortarion today, has the ability to ignore that. So that's going to be something we're going to have to watch out for. Other than that, as we were discussing before this, Lane, this is not what you particularly would take competitively.
I've never really used Morty before. This is literally the first game I've ever played with him. I'm not really big on using huge centerpiece models like this. So, yeah, I don't know. But the rest of the DeathGuard stuff's all good. I mean, Death Shroud, Plague Marines, that's all good stuff. So we'll see how it pairs with Morty. I'm not sure. Like, if anybody's out there is a DeathGuard player, please leave comments and tell me what you take with Mortarion and keep in his auras. What are your preferred units that you use around Morty to take advantage of those auras? Because I really want to hear how you guys use them in-game. Yeah,
definitely. And then for me, I'm still learning the world leaders. This would be my like third, fourth, fifth somewhat game playing them. I think the second game with them on the channel. So for me, I do feel like Angry Ron is a necessary centerpiece to take for the army, but he's also a Primarch that can come back. So that investment, you can go and slam him into someone early, and if you have enough icons, you're still able to bring him back relatively quickly. So I think it's a little different in comparison. Like, I would have to rank that. I think like Angron's probably one of the better includes, but also there's just not a lot of depth with World Eater. So it's like you're comparing it to only a couple of data sheets.
Yeah,
and he's one of the strongest.
I don't remember the last time I saw a World Eater list that didn't have him in it. So
before 10th in 9th edition, you could only take Angron or Invocatus.
Oh, right.
So then at that point in time, Invocatus was the better choice all in all. So that was when people weren't taking Angron, but now that that's kind of been lifted, Angron's just, to me, seems like an auto include. So enough talking. Let's start gaming. Lane, odd or even?
Even.
And it is odd. In this one, I don't think it matters as much because we don't have any infiltrators. I don't. Do you with the Nurglings?
No, I got nothing.
So we have no real infiltrators, but still curious on where Lane's going to start. So Lane, I'm going to have you deploy first. And we'll be back after deployment. And we are deployed. Lane, what are we doing here today?
Oh, we are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Our deployment today is Dawn of War. This is the way I played in high school. This is the only deployment I used back when I started in 2nd edition. All right. Our primary mission today is Taken Hold. This is basic Warhammer here. You get 5 points for every objective you control, up to 15 per turn. And then our mission special rule is Adapt or Die. Basically, because we're both using tactical objectives twice per game, we can pull an extra card and then shuffle one of them back in. So we give a little bit of flexibility in our secondaries.
Do we decide that after we draw the cards? Is that how that works?
Let me read it so that we don't make any mistakes. Twice
yes,
per
making mistakes. That's something we never do here on the channel.
Twice per battle, after drawing a secondary mission card, that player can draw another secondary mission card, then shuffle one of those 2 secondary mission cards back into their secondary mission deck.
Okay, so we do get to actually see those first 2 and go, I don't like this, and I think we're going to draw another one. Excellent. Okay, so now let's talk about deployments. So a theme of this game is going to be we don't have much shooting. I mean, I got plasma pistols, and Lane has some decent shooting coming off those Plague Marines, but for the most part, we ain't got no guns. So we're all on the front line. So I position myself here so that Invocatus can give the scout move to this squad with the Exalted and the Juggernaut over there. And these Jackals. His squad himself, the regular 8-bound and Invocatus have scout already, so that will be 3 units that I can scout move with. Angry Ron is front and center, ready to get a whooping and a walloping. And then we have our Demon Prince, who's able to walk, not fly. He's walking wherever he needs to go. Then we have Berserkers back here and here to be able to get in position for secondary game. Also to be able to hold this home field objective, because when everyone runs away, we kind of need to hold that one for Taking Hold, since it does count for this game. Last but not least, we have a Rhino here. I don't have any guys on top because I only have 1 Rhino with 1 unit inside. And that is the 10-man squad of World Eaters with Karn the Betrayer. All right, Lane, talk to us. What do you got?
Well, in Deep Strike, I just have 1 6-man of Death Shroud that are being led by the Lord of Virulence. And then I have a solo Sorcerer in Terminator Armor and Typhus going solo. So those are in Deep Strike. Other than that, we're on the table here. We got Morty, of course. Kind of ready to buff these units over here with his buffs. And then we've got the Tallyman with some Plague Marines holding our home field objective, our deployment zone objective. And we've got down here, we've got another Rhino full of Plague Marines ready to go out there and cause some trouble there as well.
And then back here, these Terminators, you got a 6-man with a Sorcerer hanging out.
Yep.
Awesome. So you have no scout moves.
Nope.
I have 3. And then that's about it. Nothing else. No other crazy pregame abilities. So in this scenario, Lane, what would you prefer, going first or second?
No, probably second. Just so I can rapid ingress is more effective whenever I go second.
And that end game scoring would be really nice too. I wouldn't mind going second as well, just since we're both a combat army. So you get you kind of having to move out there, so I can kind of react to you. So this would be a time to go second. But going first is always nice for World Eaters. All right, let's roll. Oh, it looks like I will get to go second. So Lane will get to go first. I do have a couple scout moves that I'm going to make. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play the game.
So at the start of the game, DJ did a little bit of scouting. I was going first, but he scouted this unit, and the Jackals up there. And then for my secondaries for turn 1, I pulled Area Denial and Secure No Man's Land. So puts me out in the middle of the table, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a fight. So I moved up the Rhino here. It took some shots at the Jackals and picked up 5 of them. And then we advanced the Death Shroud up. They rolled a big old 6 in their advance, so they scooched up there. So we are securing No Man's Land and denying the areas. So we get a big old 10 on secondaries on turn 1, off to a strong start. And on to DJ's turn. Oh, and the Tallyman did give me an extra command point, so that was good there. So we already have 2 command points on
And also, just so that you know, for my turn, I am going my blood surge or blood thingy, I have feel no pain and advance and charge.
Okay. On to DJ's turn. Let's see what kind of fights we get into.
Well, we're looking at storm hostile objectives and sabotage. Not really in a position to sabotage. I guess I could. I could sabotage with these guys. They're out of my deployment zone, so...
You advance with them.
Oh, you're right. So I can't sabotage with them. Thank you. So not really in the position to sabotage. So we're just going to turn that into a command chiller point. Otherwise, we're going to try and get with it. So we moved up here just to tag this objective. Just moved them a little bit. So hopefully they won't get removed. I don't think there's a lot that can get to them, so I should be able to at least hold that objective for take and hold for next turn. And the Exalted 8-Bound are in position to counterattack if these Plague Marines decide to come out and play. Over here, the Demon Prince just moved up to continue to give his invulnerable save aura, and the Jackals moved up, and they're going to try and charge this Rhino to at least bog it down. Angry Ron is in position. I think I'm going to go full rerolls to hit, so we can do some damage off the sustained. And then we got out with the Berserkers and Karn, and we moved in a position so they didn't get overwatched by these Flamers. And then we moved the Rhino into position here. Technically, we could have just... It's a weird thing. I put them in position here so that they can charge and not get overwatched because they're not able to be seen. But I could charge with the Rhino and turn that off as well. And then I also got these Berserkers in position just so they can charge and get on that objective, so we can get another banner on that objective. That's what we're looking at for their icons and stuff. So we're going to get ready to do some charges here. I got a couple things to shoot with, but they're not really relevant. Not heavy damage. It's kind of just like piddly shots. And that I don't want to forget. And then we're going to get to the real good of it all and start doing some charging. All right, so let the blood flow. We did some damage. So I thought I was not going to take out this full squad. And I was right. Lane used his psychic power ability shenanigans to allow him to reduce damage by 1, which definitely helped because otherwise I probably would have swept the entire squad. Sorcerer might have lived, but I would have definitely swept the squad. The Eviscerators being 2 damage, going down to 1, that hurt. Karn also being flat 3 damage, going down to 2 because he put a heck of a lot of damage. He would have picked up like 3 or 4 by himself. But that wasn't what happened. Lane then chose to interrupt with these guys and picked up my other squad of Berserkers that charged in. I spent a command point because I controlled the objective to make this sticky. So after we finish everything up and move away, at least we can sticky this objective. I thought that was a cute little play since we now control it. And we'll see how that goes out. Over here, the Jackals, I spent a command point on them to give them +1 to wound when going at a vehicle character, for the Skull Throne. Even though this thing doesn't have skulls on it, the skulls are in it. More or less, I just wanted these guys to kind of bog things down here, and charging allowed me to kind of make a better wall that Rhino can't go through at least. And was successfully able to take this thing down to 5 wounds. I mean, that wasn't really what I was trying to do with them. They do better into infantry. Now they're just probably going to get beat up by the Plague Marines, but at least Plague Marines got to deal with them first. So that's going to be it for my turn. I will get Storm Hostile objectives. I scored the 4 points for that. And I'll pitch Sabotage to get the command point back, so I'll be back at 2 during Lane's turn. Speaking of which, that's where we're going next. On to Lane's turn.
Okay, for my second turn here, I only score 5 on primaries. That's what's going to happen when you play against World Eaters sometimes. And then I pulled my secondaries. I pulled Bring It Down. Then I pulled Sabotage. I decided to use the mission or the game's special rule of allowing you to cycle 1 back into the deck. And then I put Sabotage back in the deck and pulled Overwhelming Force. So we're going to try to overwhelm some forces. The plan is to kill things this turn. We'll see how the plan goes. So,
and to make note for my blood tithe or whatever it's called, special roll. I get it right.
Blessings of Corn.
Blessings of Corn. That's it. I chose the Feel No Pain and I chose Fight on Death for this round.
Excellent. So these Plague Marines popped out here. I made sure all my shooty ones can shoot these guys, and then we're going to try and charge into these guys. We'll see how that goes. And then the bloat drone bloated up here. And he'll be able to charge through this gap in the wall and see if we can get these guys. I'm going to try and kill us some Jackals. These Plague Marines has disembarked and moved up here So they are within 8 inches of Morty because I got a guy in the building there, so they will be able to grenade for free. The Rhino fell back, won't be able to do anything. I'm so proud of myself. I remember to heal his 1 wound in my command phase. I always forget that. These guys are just going to stay here with these berserks, and we're just going to have a little bit of fighting there. They'll have to shoot their flamer pistols in combat, and then we brought everything in over here. So I'm going to try to overwhelm this force on DJ's home field objective. So we got all the flamers coming here, plus we have more Typhus's mortal wound damage, so I can either put Typhus into Angry Ron, because he is touching this piece of terrain. He's on this piece of terrain, so I can see through it. And then I also have the Sorcerer here, so he can choose, depending on how well the flamers go into these guys, we can either shoot them some or shoot into Angry Ron. So we're going to try to bring it down, try to kill Angron, and then see if we can kill things on objectives. I'm going to do some shooting. Did a little bit of work in the shooting phase. These Death Shrouds, so it's a 6-man Death Shroud plus Lord of Virulence, they're attached. And I dropped in Typhus and the Sorcerer behind them, so that's 1 big unit and then 2 lone characters. The Flamers did manage to pick up these Berserks because I spent the CP to give them AP 1. So we're able to flame on them, cooked them pretty good.
Spent a command point after the unit was destroyed to sticky the objective, so at least I'll control that for point purposes.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that was good. And then Typhus kicked out, what did he get, 5 mortals on?
Yeah,
Typhus did pretty good with his psychic attack, so he did 5 mortals onto Angry Ron. And then we threw grenades here and a little bit of, I think, 1 dev wound from Morty's Rotwind psychic power went through.
Put him down to 8.
Got him down to 8. You know what that means, guys. It's time to fight. It's time for a fight. It's time for the biggest fight. Over here, we got, what, 2 of these guys with our flamers?
2 partial. Yep.
Yeah, did that.
And a whole lot of jackals.
Cooked a lot of jackals here because these Plague Marines shot all their shots into the jackals and just threw the grenades at Morty. So only a couple jackals left, but we did get overwhelming force, so we got to charge and finish them. We got to finish things. We got to bring it down. We got to finish Angry Ron. We got to finish these guys on the objective, although we did get an overwhelming force for picking up that squad. So do some charges here, and these Plague Marines are going to go for the Exalted over here. So let's get into some fights. Ooh-wee, we did some fighting. So these Plague Marines charged in here, picked up all of the Exalted 8-bound, but didn't pick up the Juggernaut. And then these guys...
Heroic.
And I did punch one of them. I killed one of them, but then they wrecked all the Plague Marines and all the characters. Fight on Death
was helpful a little bit.
Yeah, definitely fight on Death. The boat drone came in here and picked up 3 of the guys. There was 1 left. So the Plague Marines multi-charged both Angry Ron and the remaining guys here, the Jackals. And, well, yeah, you can see Angry Ron is still alive with 1 wound remaining. Yeah, that's the thing with Morty. He only has 5 attacks, so you get a couple 1s and makes a couple invulns. It didn't get that much damage through. So, and the Plague Marines tried, but weren't able to finish him off. So, yeah, so Angry Ron still lives, so it didn't get breaking down. Over here, we have all these guys. They picked up the rest of the Death Shroud, but the Sorcerer is still alive, and he picked up 3 of them in the punchback. So that's that. So I just get overwhelming force. I did kill the Jackals and these guys in this turn, so that gives me 5 points. Bring it down, didn't score yet, because Angry Ron lives on 1. So we'll see if we can pick that up in DJ's turn. On to his turn, he will score 15 on primary. So
this turn, I used my draw a 3rd card, and I got engage on all fronts as well as overwhelming force. So sadly, this would have been easy for the engage, except Angron failed his battle shock, which doesn't matter very much right now. But this one hurts. I failed with the Juggernaut, so that made things a little more difficult. So instead, we switched it up and we brought the Demon Prince over here onto this objective, and he's going to be engaged for 1 area. They're going to move up and just rip this Rhino off the table to take some of Lane's resources away for being able to score secondaries himself. We're going to try and charge with the Juggernaut into the Plague Drone. And if we can get lucky and take it down, that'll be overwhelming for us. Probably not, but got to give it a shot. And then over here, we're just going to finish off the sorcerer to get points we're going for. So we'll at least get the 4 points that we're looking at on secondaries, with a possible 6. That was the best I could come up with the secondaries that I had. I could have taken the Demon Prince into here, and it would still give me the 4 on secondaries. But I kind of want to get out of the center right now and get ready for later turns. So yeah, let's do some shooting. Okay, that was fun. Time to charge. All right, well, let's start off with the somber news.
Somber news.
Angron is down for now.
It was inevitable.
Inevitable?
Inevitably. Listen, I keep saying Lord Invocatus, and then inevitable becomes invocatable.
So we were, and over here, we did not take down the Plague Drone. Like, I kind of figured it was a long shot. We did a little bit of damage, but we didn't lose him in return, so at least we can try and fight on death over there, maybe. We picked up the Rhino. I spent a command point to go +1 to wound, so we just got rid of that thing. And then just scooched back, so we're going to get on the objective so we can get that 4-up invuln hanging out over there near the Demon Prince. So we did get the engage on all fronts, and we, with the Rhino over here, and picked up the last of the sorcerer there. And so we did get some points. Morty is still hanging out in the middle at full health, so we're just going to have to get lucky on some blood surge rolls, and hopefully Angron will come back.
I'm doing it on camera right now. It's the beginning of the battle round. Oh, don't be shy.
Oh, man. This is what Lane wants this. All right, so I do have a banner out there. So I got 6.
So that gives you 1 reroll of one of these?
7, 8. Yes, because I have 1 banner remaining.
3 6s to bring back Angry Ron. No! What is this?
4, 6.
No!
These 3 will go to air, and there's Angry Ron. I'll figure out what I'm doing with the rest. Angry Ron will return at full health.
All right, I guess it's my turn. All right, so for this turn, we pulled behind enemy lines and assassination. Good news on both those. I already put 3 units behind enemy lines last turn. And assassination, we've got this guy here with 1 wound left. So fun. Yeah. So nothing unusual happened in this turn. Just moved around a little bit in my movement phase. Oh no! But Angron, who came back to life, rapid ingress here, staring down these poor Plague Marines with the Tally Man. He's angry because the Tally Man has given me a command point every turn. He's going to try to shut that off and stop that from happening. So, yeah, so the plan here is to pop this guy with a grenade, put a couple shots into these guys. The blow drones can fall back and charge, so he's going to charge the Demon Prince, maybe do a little work on him. And we basically want to clear out these guys and Karn. And the Death Shroud did advance and rolled a nice big old 6 on the advance. They were able to get on that objective, unsticky it, and claim it for ourselves. So I'm going to do a little shooting, see how it goes. Ha-ha!
He's down to 13. 3 wounds got through.
Tallyman and his boys did a couple wounds. We've got a blight launcher and a plasma gun in this unit, so we did a little bit of damage there. Over here, we did grenade this boy. That was Invocado?
That was Juggernaut.
That's a Juggernaut, yeah. We grenaded him for our assassinate, and then shot and picked up one of these guys over here, just whittling them down a little bit. Shot over here with Typhus into the Berserks. Of course, I forgot that they blood surge, but nothing I could really do about that. Picked up, 1 or 2 of them?
2.
2 of them in the shooting, and now we are going to bonk. So, time for fights. For funsies, we could always just charge into...
No, you can't. I'm 13 inches away.
All right, okay. Never mind. Well, we're going to charge over here with a blow drone and see if we can do a little work to the Demon Prince. I don't think we will, but maybe we'll just slow him down a bit. And then Typhus and the Wizard, the Sorcerer, are going to charge into the Rhino. And then DJ will get to fight first here. But Morty's tough. He can take it.
He can take it.
On to my fight phase. So fight phase over here didn't do a whole lot. I think I scraped 2 wounds off this Demon Prince because he does cut damage in half. He did a couple wounds to me, so I'm down to 4. So that's where that's at. Over here, both the Sorcerer and Typhus made their charge in and almost picked up this Rhino, but he made it some 6-up, feel no pain, so he's still alive there. And then these guys, I decided to do the sweeps with Morty. Just he's only got 5 big strike attacks, and you just roll a couple ones and you whiff. So we did pick up the rest of the squads. Now it's just Karn here, and he's got 4 wounds left. Yeah, that's it. So on to DJ's turn. We'll see what the triumphantly returning Angron does in this turn. I did score Assassination, and I'm behind enemy lines. I guess just for 1 right now because I completed these charges, but if I had 2 behind enemy lines, it would only be 1 extra point. So on to DJ.
So for this turn, we're looking at Assassinate and No Prisoners. We originally had Cleanse, but I pitched that one out because I don't feel like doing actions right now. So we moved. We stayed here because we're going to fight this guy. I feel like we have enough damage in our characteristics to take him out. Just going to hopefully not just do 1 wound this time. And then we moved up here. Lane was able to pick off another one of the 8-bound. So we got 3 of the 8-bound left. He's a little hurt. So that'll be, he's only got 2 guys on the fight first. So hopefully that'll be enough that we can pick him up with Invocatus and everything and 4-up invulns and all that jazz. So we should be able to pick those guys up and take that objective. And there's 2 characters in there. So we just pick up this whole squad. We score max on No Prisoners and as well Assassinate. Angron is getting in here. He wants to finish off those guys so we can take this backfield objective. That seems like the tactical play. And then over here, Karn stayed in combat because he has Fight on Death, so he can at least do damage. Fell back with the Rhino just so we don't lose it, and Lane actually has to do something to take it down. He also already picked up like Overwhelming Force and stuff like that, so yeah. So it's not as much for him as it is for me. So that's going to be it. We're going to do a couple Plasma Pistol shots from Invocatus and Karn, and then do some charges. I told Lane after making this charge and sweeping the squad, if a Demon Primarch can't pick up a 5-man squad and a character, there's definitely a problem. So he cleared that squad wholeheartedly. Over here was more of a little bit of a battle. We're down to just 2 of the 8-bound and Invocatus, but we did clear those last of the Plague Marines. And we were able to pick up the Floated Blow Drone. We spent a command point to go +1 to wound just to make sure we got rid of it. And now it is gone. So we do get maximum on both of our secondaries. And then over here, poor Karn the Betrayer is still alive.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you.
Lane went for the sweep profiles.
I rolled 5 1s on the hit roll, or 6 1s on the hit roll, so he whiffed.
And then Karn stuck some invulns and stuck a little bit of the Feel No Pain on the 6s. So that's going to be it for the turn. We will get max on No Prisoners as well as our assassination points, and we're going to kick it over to Lane and the DeathGuard.
So I pulled Cleanse and Established Locus. I decided to use my second special rule to pull another one. So I got Sabotage and Established Locus. So these guys, Death Shroud, are going to establish, or they're going to sabotage because they're within deployment zone. And then this wizard, this sorcerer, is going to establish Locus. So we have those good scoring there. Typhus is going to try and do some magic on Karn, see if we can pick him up. And then this Rhino is going to tangle with these guys, see if we can pick up one of these guys too. So shooting. Okay, so shooting was actually fairly decent. Mortarion shot into this squad here, and we picked up a couple of the guys. And then the bolter fire from the Rhino did pick up the last one. Now, this guy is OC2, so I could have charged him and tank shocked, but if he picked up the Rhino, then DJ would control this objective. So I'm just not going to charge here because we're both OC2, and that means that I can test this objective so he doesn't score the primary. So that's probably the better move here. But we did score. Over here, we used Typhus' psychic powers to pick up Karn finally, and then Mortarion charged in and finished the Rhino. We'll see if Angry Ron can make this charge. Probably, because he's got +2 to move and he's advanced in charge.
No, I do not.
No advanced in charge. Okay, so 14-inch move and then the charge. So we'll see if Angry Ron gets into Angry Mortarion. But that's it. Scored well here. We scored 4 for Established Locus, and then when I complete the sabotage, it'll be 6 points, a big 6 there.
My turn was relatively easy. I had to spend a command point to shuffle out a secondary, so I ended up on Secure No Man's Land and recover assets. So Demon Prince is recovering assets for the center area. Lord Invocatus moved back here to do it over in this side, and then Angron walloped over here and just said goodbye, Rhino. So that's it for the turn. It was real simple. Going to kick it over to Lane in turn 5.
So I bowled Defend Stronghold and Containment. And normally one might be sad at Defend Stronghold. because I do not hold my stronghold. However, I'm scoring really well in secondary, so I only need to do 1 containment and 1 table edge to cap out to hit 40 for secondaries. So we're just going to go for Angry Ron here. Advance Typhus up so he can still do his magic power on Angry Ron after advancing. And Morty moved up here so he can do some shooting and charging, and then it'll be a long 10-inch charge for these Death Shroud to get in here. But you know what? Sometimes we roll well. We'll see what happens today. All right, a little bit of shoots, a little bit of fights.
So the only charge that happened was right here. Mortarion and Angron at the end of the game.
We did some damage to Angron in the shooting because Typhus did knock 5 mortal wounds off of him.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit of shooting from our boy Morty, but we failed the charge with the Death Shroud, even with a reroll. But Morty did make it in there and did some work.
Morty hit.
We got an Angry Ron down to 3. But Angry Ron slapped me back and picked me up. He did exactly enough wounds. He did 17 wounds. I had 13 left, and I didn't make enough feel no pains. I made 4 feel no pains. So he killed me down to the wound. So fare thee well, Typhus.
So after Angron gets blasted off the table, 2 Mortarion and the Death Guard, Plague Marines, he comes back and gets revenge. All right, Liam, would you got 1 containment, you said?
Yep.
All right.
My sabotage completed, so I do max out secondaries.
All right, over to my turn 5. All right, so for the World Eater's final turn, we look at containment and behind enemy lines. Beautiful things, beautiful things. So Invocatus moves over here. He'll behind enemy lines and contain. And then Demon Prince moves over here to behind enemy line, or to contain. And then I spent a command point just to not even risk it, so Angry Ron is not battle shocked and standing triumphant at center field. Oh, the damage he laid waste today. And that gives us that final battle was enough to push us through and give us a final score with the World Eaters 91 to a Death Guard 85. Triumphant victory after getting slapped last time by the Death Guard. Angron reigns supreme in the middle of the table. Feels good. Feels good. All right, guys. Well, we'll have a little bit of talks after this. This was a fun game. This was a lot of fun.
No, it was
a lot of silliness that went on with many, many different things. So follow us over to the post game. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again real soon.